I am stressed and overwhelmed, but I don't know, is that serious? Has it happened to you? Sometimes you understand, you realize that your state of your mental health has changed, your thoughts, your beliefs have changed, your behavior has changed, but still you don't know how to call it, or you don't know whether it's serious, or you don't know whether you need professional help or not, or it's probably a phase. You don't know all these questions. And then you're just stuck in there waiting or not knowing what to do. So, this video will help you in order to understand exactly these questions, to answer these questions, and to figure out whether there is something that you can do alone or with professional help. Hi, I'm Vassia. I'm a psychologist, and I am not here to diagnose you. I am here to help you understand yourself, to help you understand your mind better. That's what we want to do. We have plenty of sources for diagnosing out there. We don't want to do that here, but we want to understand whether something is close to our experience, whether this is something that we need to pay more attention, or it's just part of human life, part of our normal life. So let's start with understanding the differences between depression and stress and anxiety and burnout. And of course, there's always an overlap. The symptoms can overlap from one condition to the other. And also, it doesn't mean that if you have one, you cannot have another. Sometimes they just coexist, and we have depression and anxiety, or stress and anxiety, and they can happen at the same time. But what's important here, because I'm going to mention the symptoms of these conditions, let's call them conditions, but what's important is not only to check whether you have these symptoms or not, but also to check how frequently they show up in your life, for how long you have experienced these symptoms in your life. And that can make a big difference. If, for example, you have been sad for a week, for example, because something sad happened in your life, because you lost a good friend, for example, that's part of life. Let's not call it a disorder. We don't need to diagnose ourselves for just being normal human beings reacting in a normal way to real life. That's real life. That's okay. But that's why I said we need to see what defines a disorder, what makes a disorder be different from any other state in our life. So let's start with depression, since we started with that example. And these criteria that I'm going to mention here are from DSM 5. It's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So let's start with depression. DSM 5 says that in order to meet the criteria for major depressive disorder, we need to have the symptoms that I will tell you next over a 2-week period, but not only one symptom, 5 or more of these symptoms. See, that's why it makes a big difference. You can be sad for 2 weeks, but if you don't have any other of the other symptoms, that doesn't make it a depressive disorder. So, 5 or more of the following disorders, but with at least one of them being the depressed mood or loss of interest or pleasure. The rest of the criteria, the significant weight loss or weight gain, or decrease or increase in our appetite. And again, that needs to be a significant change. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 kilos up and down. Also, another symptom, change in sleeping patterns, specifically talking about insomnia or hypersomnia, when you are sleeping excessive time, something that you've never experienced before. You're sleeping 10, 12 hours and still you're not feeling rested. Another symptom can be psychomotor agitation or retardation, which means that you notice that you don't move as much as you used to move. You are just feeling void of energy. Your body doesn't have the energy, or you are feeling agitated, which means that not only your body doesn't have the energy to move, but also your speech is different. You speak in a slower pace, or your movements are slower. So you see how your whole body changes. Another symptom can be fatigue or loss of energy nearly every day, or maybe for the majority of the day. You feel tired, you don't have energy for anything. Another symptom can be feelings of worthlessness. You're feeling guilty, maybe excessive guilt for things that you've done in the past, for decisions you didn't make, for not having grown in your career faster, and feeling completely inadequate and worthless. Another symptom can be diminished ability to concentrate, to focus, or make decisions. You're feeling stuck. You're feeling that you don't have control over your mind and you cannot put two things together and make a decision or focus on something that is important for you. It feels like a fog inside your head. And the last but not least symptom is recurring thoughts of death, suicidal ideation, or even suicide attempt. So remember, these are the criteria. We need 5 at least of them, and at least one of them to be either the depressed mood or the diminished interest or pleasure in all or almost all activities every day. Now, what is anxiety then? Anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, the symptoms, of course, vary whether we're talking about generalized anxiety disorder, whether we're talking about panic disorder or social anxiety, but we can include these. We're talking about excessive worry or anxiety about a number of events or activities. And that's actually the difference between stress and anxiety. Stress is over a very specific event, upcoming event. You're having an interview, for example, and you're feeling stressed because of this interview. You need to prepare. Or there is a family event that you want to plan and you're feeling stressed because there's so many tasks that you need actually to complete in order to organize this event. That's a very specific trigger. And this is what we call stress. But when you notice that you're feeling excessively worried or anxious about not only specific events, but a generalized feeling, and that's why it's called generalized anxiety disorder, a generalized feeling about a number of events, a number of activities, or maybe a restlessness of everything or nothing specifically. Even though there's nothing specifically for you to worry, you still feel this restlessness or feeling keyed up or on edge about maybe something coming up, but you don't know, you cannot put your finger on it. Also feelings of fatigue, difficulty concentrating, or your mind is going blank, or your mind going overwhelmingly full with thoughts and concerns, feeling irritated, easily irritated. Also, in your body, you can feel anxiety. For example, your muscles tense up. You experience back pain or stomach pain for a long period. Also, you experience sleep disturbances, your sleep changes. So you see how this overlaps also with depression, but the overall symptoms vary significantly. And as I said before, you don't need to have either or. Many people experience both depression and anxiety, not only because there are symptoms that overlap, but also they experience distinctive symptoms as well. And now, let's go to the third condition that we call burnout. And I've met many, many people, actually, the majority of the people that I have met that they experience burnout, they don't know that they experience burnout. They know the symptoms, but they don't know that this is called burnout. So, burnout, of course, is not formally classified in DSM, but it is a syndrome that is characterized by feelings of exhaustion, physical and mental exhaustion, cynicism, and reduce professional efficacy. Specifically, we're talking about chronic fatigue. You're feeling tired. You finish work, and the only thing you want to do is just to sit on the couch and watch TV because your body cannot do anything else other than that. Physical fatigue and exhaustion. Also, mentally and emotionally you feel very overwhelmed, you feel like crying all the time or crying out of nowhere, but emotionally also you feel detached from work related responsibility or care related responsibilities. So you don't like your job anymore, or you don't care whether other people need you anymore. You will be there for them, but emotionally you're detached from them. You have children, then you take care of them, but you don't feel the joy of taking care of them as you used to feel. Also, that, as I said, is shown in your productivity. You notice that you are less productive, less efficient. It takes you more time in order to deliver the same things that you used to deliver in half time in the past. And also you notice physical symptoms such as headaches, muscle pain, or maybe gastrointestinal issues. So you see again the overlap. And many times people with burnout, when they are in this chronic state of burnout, they might jump into a state of depression or into a state of anxiety, or they are sometimes they overlap, as I said. But it's important that we know what is what, and we take action. We take action without letting ourselves be in this condition for a long time. The structure of our brain changes when we are chronically into a depressed mood or chronically anxious or stressed. Our life changes, our body changes, our immune system becomes more weak and we get sick more often. So there are multiple mental and physical consequences, negative consequences, when we don't take action, when we don't start taking care of ourselves. I hope that this helped you today in order to clarify, in order to distinguish one condition from the other. But as I said, it's not about the diagnosis per se, it's about understanding yourself better and understanding whether you need to take some action now before it becomes worse, before it's too late. Because there's many resources out there. You can start working with a therapist. You can start reading self-help books. You can watch videos such as these so that you can see how you can change your life. Your life is important and you deserve to find yourself again, to find your happy, your positive, your healthy self again. In case you need help with that, I'm here, my team is here, and we can help you, we can support you, give you the tools so that you can reverse all this negative effect and find yourself, your positive self again. You're not alone. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe and find even more helpful tools and tips here on my videos. Have a good day. Take good care of yourself. Bye bye.